Hey everyone, Lenny here. Super stoked to be answering your questions that you sent in on the Surfer Magazine post. Let's get this started. How many Taco Bell bean burritos can I eat at Jaws in one day? I think it depends on the conditions, but I honestly probably have like 3 or 4. If I'm really hungry and it's like the second day of giant waves, I've probably eaten up to 8. Just burning so much calories, just need to get those burritos in. What goes through my mind when I get caught inside of my massive set is just, how did I end up here? Like what decisions led me to this point? There's kind of that moment of just, dang it. But then at the same time, no one in the world can save you. And I just start relying on my training, doing deep breaths, the stuff that I've worked with, remembering that this is what I train for, and kind of trying to just enjoy the view. I mean, at that point, if I can't do anything else, I'll just look up at it and go, no one else in the world is seeing this right now. But it's always way more fun when you get caught inside with a friend because misery loves company, I guess. The longest I've ever held my breath for is about 5 minutes, and that's just static breath hold in a pool. I don't think that translates all that well to big wave riding. The stuff that translates better is when you're doing a breath hold under pressure. So actually doing some movements, like holding your breath and swimming across the length of a pool. I think if you can hold your breath 2 minutes, you could hold your breath on a giant wave. It's just more the mental side of things and the fear of what you're seeing that makes you rush through your oxygen really quick. How do I mentally prepare to surf massive swells? Well, usually when I see kind of the swell coming on the maps, I get a lot of anxiety and start pacing inside my room. What have I gotten myself into? I can't believe this is my job. And then I start watching footage of previous sessions and getting really amped and watching other people surf and start calling my friends, and we kind of psych each other up. And then the day before, I'm usually a nervous wreck again, but as soon as I get down to the harbor and launch the jet ski and get up to Jaws and I see the wave, all of that sort of melts away and I realize why I love doing it, which is the ultimate thrill, the ultimate ride, moments that have defined, my life so far, the greatest experiences I've ever had, and some of the most terrifying too. So the good and the bad, it's all worth it. But before every swell, I really just try to stay focused on why I love doing it, which is for that ride. The heaviest wipeout I ever have, I've had a few. A lot of them have been when I've actually gotten injured and being underwater and getting ragdolled so hard and feeling that injury just get worse and worse. I would say maybe the worst session of wipeouts was 2016 when Aaron Gold caught his 73-foot monster. I had 3 wipeouts that were in the 50-second to minute-long hold-down range, and that all happened within 2 hours of it. And I kind of started getting used to being held down that long. That was with an inflation vest. That day, actually, the one that really got me was, it was before I started using full traction pads on my boards, and I paddled into this wave. I hit the ledge because the period of the swell was so long. Jaws will do this crazy double up, and I sort of hit it like a ramp. When I landed, my foot slipped off because the wax wasn't sticky enough, and I went tomahawking, got scorpioned on the bottom, felt like I broke my back, but then I pulled my vest and I was stuck down there. And on the camera, when my filmer was filming me from the cliff, it recorded like 1 minute and 1 second underwater with the thing fully inflated. So I probably 100% would have drowned if I didn't have the inflation. So that day was heavy, and I mean, I always get pounded every swell at least once, but I've kind of gotten used to it, which is weird. I started getting into doing aerial surfing at Jaws and in big waves because it always felt like the natural progression. Here on Maui, it is so windy most of the time, especially on big swells, that there's the perfect ramps coming down the waves. And I love watching snowboarding. I love snowboarding as well. And so watching what someone like Travis Rice does up in Alaska is just absolutely insane. And we don't have a local mountain except for Jaws when it breaks. And I figured if they can do 720s off of a 1,000-foot cliff, then why can't I do it on a 50-foot wave? But big wave surfing to me has always seemed like, where can we take things to the next level? With paddling, it's going deeper, bigger, longer barrels, start doing big turns. And with tone surfing, it just seems with the foot straps, we can be getting the longest barrels and doing the biggest aerials in the world. So I'm looking forward to next winter to keep experimenting. But yeah, the wipeouts from those have been treacherous and intense. Fortunately, here in Hawaii, we're able to still go out and surf. I know the rest of the world's on lockdown, and we're trying to respect social distancing by not congregating on the beaches, and we're allowed to go to the beach and jump straight out. Fortunately, I live right on the water, so we have these little waves that no one's around, and I can still go get in the water. But I'm trying to catch all the waves for my friends around the world who can't, and hopefully this whole thing blows over quick so we can get back to surfing and having fun. What do I think of Nazare? Nazare is one of the best big waves on the planet. You can't compare it to a Chopu or say a Jaws because it's so different, but there's so many faces to it that's absolutely incredible. I mean, I've caught probably the biggest wave of my life there. I've had some incredible moments doing high performance tow surfing and, you know, basically being scared paddling out there, getting caught inside by huge waves. It's definitely one of those waves that are in a league of its own. I look forward to going there every year, and trust me, it is the farthest thing from a mush burger. That wave will pound you as hard as anywhere on the planet, and you know, the potential of getting a giant tube out there is huge too. So I'm looking forward to going back there with my friends and riding some big ones. There hasn't been a wave that I've surfed where I never wanted to surf again. I usually see waves that are more challenging for me, maybe harder to surf, or maybe if I didn't have the good experience there, I want to go back and accomplish that and overcome maybe those fears. Going to Tahiti when I was younger was always scary because the waves are so slabby, it's so shallow, and you're going backside and pulling into these giant barrels. And where I'm from on Maui, we don't have as many backside barrel spots. Oahu's close and we could go to Pipe, but it's hard to get waves at Pipe if you're not always there and a local. So when I was younger, going to Tahiti was terrifying, but I overcame that fear and I got some incredible waves, and I look forward to going back there. Nazare is another wave. The first time I went, I'm like, oh my God, the Big Wave World Tour comes here and I can't believe I have to keep coming back here. But throughout the years and the experiences of going, I overcame it and started to love each of these places. So yeah, that being said, I usually go surf a place until I love it. My essential travel quiver usually is everything, including the kitchen sink. When I go on trips, I feel like I have to look at the forecast and see if every condition possible is what I gotta bring. I have to bring at least one wind sport. I gotta bring my foil as well. If the waves are small, I have to bring equipment for those small waves. If the waves are big, well, I gotta bring a step up, of course, or a big gun, and shortboard's automatic. So I tend to travel with no less than 3 big board bags, because I figure, well, if you're bringing 1, why not bring 2? And if you're bringing 2, why not bring 3? It's, so yeah, I try to bring everything with me. Oh, I'd love to compete at Punta Galea. I saw Lucas Chumbo get the craziest wave there this year, and freaking I didn't even know that that event was going on. So if I can get invited, I'll definitely show up and try to tear that wave apart best I can. Well, if you've watched The Tiger King, you know, the jury's out on whether Carole Baskin killed her husband. I think she fed him to the tigers, just personally. I've had the opportunity to surf Kelly Slater's wave pool a bunch and absolutely love it, but I've only been able to go to the Waco wave pool once, and I want to go back there and work on my air game. Maybe go there with my brother and Nathan Florence and we can have an air camp, because we've been talking about it forever. So once this whole thing, coronavirus, lifts, we'll go on a surf trip. The way we communicate with the water safety crew at Nazare is whoever's driving the jet ski usually has a radio, and we have a spotter up on the cliff who's calling out waves, telling the jet ski where the surfer went down, and then they're also communicating with our backup ski that's in the channel. And so everyone is on communication, and the only person that's not is the surfer. But I think in the future, it's gonna become something where us as surfers are gonna actually have the radios on as well, because it's really easy to direct somebody that way. And safety is the utmost importance at Nazare, because when things go wrong there, they go wrong really quick, and you could be 10 feet away from someone, but the foam is so thick and big you can't see them. So safety first when going to Nazare.